Yo. So today is going to be prepping for wrap. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I went with blue raspberry. I have it in the house right now, but it's in the hallway, and today I'm just gonna try to prep this car, especially in the front. I don't know how clear you guys would be able to see it, but there's some rock chips and then some gashes in the front bumper. There's like a crack under that sticker, some rough surfaces, more scratches, rock chips, and then there's some rock chips in the hood scoop as well. When you're wrapping, you want to make sure that you have a smooth surface underneath, that way the wrap can stick properly, and also a smooth surface so you don't see any of the imperfections through the wrap. So yeah, it's mainly going to be the front end, the fender, door, quarter panel. They're all in pretty good shape. There are some minor dings. I did get myself a dent removal kit, whatever you want to call it. Just give it a shot, see how well it works. And then the last part is the spoiler. There's no clear coat, it's not smooth at all. Super rough, so we're gonna sand that. On the quarter panel, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's a bunch of dings there too. We'll use the kit as well, try to pull it out. And yeah, that should be it for the sanding part. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, because prepping is probably like the boring part. I really want to start laying wrap on it, but I mean, we'll see how long this takes. So here's the grits of sandpaper that I'll be using, and then I also got some glazing putty to fill in some of the rock chips, especially the one on the hood scoop, and maybe some other small imperfections. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down the front bumper with some soap, and yeah, just start sanding it with a clean surface. Disclaimer, I've never done any kind of bodywork, sanding or whatever, so this is my first time, and yeah, don't judge. Alright, so I got some soapy water right here. This is just dish soap mixed with water. Alright, so the first part I'm going to start with is going to be that area right there, some parts along the front. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, you got to really look up close to see all the imperfections, but some over there. I'm going to start with 400 and then just work my way up and see where it goes. Alright, quick little update. I'm not sure how well you guys can see it because this is a silver car, but I've sanded down this area, that area, some of the small little rock chips. I mean, this car's just covered in rock chips. There's some of them that have, like, I guess you could call them like little pinholes, so those are gonna need to be filled with like some glazing putty. The rock chips over here, I could sand them down easily. For example, that one definitely needs to be filled in a little bit. But yeah, I got the rest of the front bumper and the hood scoop. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm sweating a lot too. It's pretty hot today. Oh yeah, and I'm mostly using 800 grit, but I am using 400 for like the deep rock chips and the gashes, and then 800 for the small ones, and then I'm probably gonna move up to like 1000 and then 2000 to smooth everything out. I honestly don't know how I'm gonna fix this fat crack. I may just wrap over it and then slap another sticker on it. I don't know anything about auto body, so I have no idea how to fix this. One side's higher than the other, so I don't know. Alright, quick little update. You can see it's dark out. Did take a while, but I also did take a small little break because it was too hot and my back was hurting. But I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is really smooth right now. Now these parts, the little black dots, is where I sanded deeper. That's where I'm gonna have to fill some glazing putty and sand it again so everything's leveled. But for the most part, the front bumper is basically done and it's all smooth. Now we're gonna get started on the hood. Should be a little bit easier because these are lighter chips. The hood scoop is where I am definitely gonna need to use some glazing putty, fill it in. Alright, it's a new day. Don't mind my eye, it's all messed up, but a little update. I got everything sanded down. All the spots that need to be sanded down, which is mainly just the front end, the hood scoop, the bumper. There were a few spots on the roof, the door, the side skirt, the mirror, same thing on the other side, and then the mid blade on the swing. It used to be super rough, wet sanded it, now it's completely smooth. So are all the little other spots. And now it's time to use some glazing putty. I've never used glazing putty before, but basically I'm gonna be filling in these areas. As you can see, I've sanded it down pretty deep to where you can see the original polyurethane. So these rock chips are pretty deep and need to be filled in. Got some light ones here as well. It's really smooth, but you can kind of feel, the best example would be like if you feel some dust particles, that's what they feel like. So what I'm gonna do is grab a piece of wrap and just lay over it and see if it still shows through. If it does, then I'm gonna have to fill it in a little bit. If it doesn't, I'm gonna leave it as is. And then this is probably the most major part that I need for glazing putty. Oh yeah, and I didn't film the rest of the sanding process just because I thought it would be too boring. Sanding is boring, so I have no knowledge of auto body or anything, but I watched some BS4 build and he uses glazing putty a lot to fill in little pinholes and little gashes and whatnot, just the small areas that need to be filled in, which is my case, as I just have a bunch of little rock chips. I don't have a putty spreader, so I'm just gonna use this old iTunes gift card and we're just gonna start filling in, see how it works. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the correct amount, but you know, trial and error, still learning. Damn, this is a lot harder than I thought. But anyways, I just got done. Just gonna let it sit and dry and then I'm gonna start sanding it down again. Quick update, as you can see, I filled in some of the little pinholes. It's not the best. I mean, I'm not even sure if I did it correctly, but hopefully when I start sanding it off, it doesn't like chip off and it actually still sticks on there. But yeah, let's get sanding. Alright, so I just finished sanding. It's not perfect. It's definitely better than how it was before, but you could still kind of feel the pinholes. So I think I'm gonna go over and just fill it in again. And hopefully this time it'll be much smoother. But no, it's definitely better than how it was at first. Alright, so while I let that dry again, I'm gonna test out a small spot over here. You see these little black dots, these are also rock chips. When I slide my finger across it, you can barely feel it. I'm gonna get a piece of wrap and lay it over it and see if any of these will show through. And yes, this is the color I'm going with, blue raspberry. Pretty excited. So just now I laid it somewhere over there and yeah, nothing showed through the wrap, but I found a little bit deeper rock chips. Not as deep as these pinholes. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there are like barely visible, something like that, barely visible, I guess you could call them blemishes that show through the wrap. But that's if you go up really close to it, so that's not gonna bother me. So I'm just gonna sand the glazing putty and then it should be good to go. Alright, so as I was sanding these and then I was sanding this, I noticed that the glazing putty kind of just slid off. You can still see some in there, but I think I'm supposed to dry sand the glazing putty. I'm gonna give that a try because wet sanding it kind of just like took it off instead of actually like sanding it. Alright, so I finished with the hood scoop. It is so much better than last time. You could barely feel the little pinholes. Like I said, It's my first time working on it, so by no means is everything perfect, but it is definitely a lot better than how it was before. That is basically it for sanding and glazing putty. Alright, so now that I've finished all that sanding and stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and try out this dent puller kit. This side is not as bad. It's probably super hard to see on camera, but I do have a small little ding on the door right here. It's not too visible. And then I have another small ding that's right here. You could kind of see it based off of the reflection, how it's kind of warped. And then the passenger side is probably the worst. You could definitely see. So yeah, I'm going to do that side first, just because I have more space. Right here, as you can see, I have like no space. It is pretty hot right now, so when it gets cooler, I'm gonna back the car in and work on this side. Was gonna be on that side, so. Alright, so I'm not expecting this whole dent. Dang, looks like I got beat up. I promise I didn't get beat up. But anyways, I'm not expecting this whole thing to work perfectly to pull the dents out all the way, but at least so the dents aren't gonna be as deep as they once were. Another alternative is to pay for paintless dent repair, but those can be pretty pricey, and this car is just kind of something that I'm doing all by myself. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. I mean, I'm wrapping it myself, so just gonna give it a shot and see how it looks like. Alright, quick little update. I don't know, definitely can't see it on camera. I mean, I could barely see it in person, but I did this several times. Glued it, pulled it several times, and I mean, I'm even having a rough time trying to find where the dent is. You can barely see it right there. Either my eyes are playing tricks on me, or it actually does work, because it seems like it's working, and it's not as noticeable as it was before. Alright, so this is the passenger side. Once again, it's pretty hard to see on camera. You got one small dent right here. You got this big dent right here that I sanded because it was kind of rough. This one's like a mini dent as well. Pretty hard to tell on camera, but again, I'm gonna do the same thing. Hopefully it pulls the dent out just a tad bit. Update. Again, can't really tell on the camera, but it definitely works. It's not perfect, it's not completely flat, but the dent is a lot less deeper, and it shouldn't be too noticeable when I have the wrap over it when everything's done. It's not 100% perfect, but I mean, yeah, this thing was like 20 bucks on Amazon, so don't expect a super flush dent puller thingy. And it does take a while. I had to go through several times. I'm getting bored, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. It looks pretty good to me, so yeah. This is basically it for the sanding, the prep. Super smooth, kind of hard to see because I am in the dark, but it's finally done. Took a while, it was really boring, but I'm excited to finally start wrapping.